All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today. Hope everybody had an awesome weekend and your week is off to a phenomenal start. So we got some catching up to do. So we will dive into the charts, take a look at the fundamental side of things, see what's happening there, and then we will hop into the charts and get updated on as many as we can, as we didn't have a Saturday ritual this week. So without further ado, we're going to hop over to trading economics. Before we do that, just drop me a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Had some issues with my audio yesterday. All right, cool deal. Appreciate you, JC. All right, so you're seeing it, Reese. Appreciate it. All right, let's slide over to trading economics. And there we go. All right. So, actually, hold on one second. Let me just double check one more thing. Okay, cool deal. So, dollar remains under pressure. Right? Dollar remains under pressure. Dollar fell below $100. So DXY, a level not seen since April 2022. As investors bet the Fed tightening campaign is close to an end amid further signs of cooling inflation. Last week, the greenback tumbled 2.3% in its worst week in 8 months and is down nearly 12% from last year's 2-decade high. All right, so dollars under pressure. We'll take a look at some of those, some of the crosses and see what's happening there. Some of those are coming into some key levels as well. So we'll see what happens. Government bond yields fell for the second session. Bond yields around the world fell for a second day on Tuesday, with the U.S. Treasury note yield. Let's hop over into this one, actually. Seen as a proxy for global borrowing costs, retreating 3.76%, a level not seen since late June. Investors are getting increasingly convinced that major central banks, and especially the Federal Reserve, will soon end their tightening campaign. Bets for a 25 basis point hike in the Fed funds rate next week currently stands at 97%, but investors remain divided on the need for further increases, with the chances of a September increase currently standing at 12%, and for November at 22%. Meanwhile, the ECB is also set to raise rates by 25 basis points again next week, while there is just a 70% chance of a further rate raise in September. Bank of England will decide on monetary policy in August only, but either a 25 basis point or a 50 basis point hike are seen as certain. Right. On the other hand, traders increasingly speculate the Bank of Japan could adjust its ultra loose monetary policy next week. That's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Doesn't seem like, and I haven't seen anything on Japan saying that they're ready to do that yet. So we'll see. We'll see. So that's an overall update on the government bond side of things. Then we got gold on the rise on dollar weakness, right? RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia, maintained its cash rate at 4.1% during its July meeting, after raising by 25 basis points in June, with a total of 400 basis points since May 2022. The board said it needed more time to assess the impacts of past hikes, adding that inflation in the country has passed its peak, with the monthly CPI indicators showing a further drop to 5.6% in May. That said, inflation in Australia is still too high at 7% in Q1 of 2023 and would remain so for some time yet. The central bank indicated that some further monetary policy tightening might be required to ensure inflation returns to its target between 2 and 3% in a reasonable time frame. But it would depend on upon how the economy and prices evolve. The committee mentioned that it will continue to closely monitor the developments in the global economy, household spending, and inflation forecasts. So, potential for Reserve Bank of Australia to increase again as well, right? There's that potential there. There may be that need. All right, so we'll watch those Aussies and see what happens there. And we got oil studies on tightening U.S. supplies. WTI crude futures traded at above $74 a barrel on Tuesday amid signs of tightening U.S. oil supplies, with data from with data from the Energy Information Administration showing U.S. shale oil production is expected to drop by nearly 9.4 million barrels per day in August, the first such decline since December. Meanwhile, oil prices lost nearly 2% in the previous session as weaker Chinese economic growth raised concerns about demand in the world's top crude importer, right? The country's economy grew by a lower than expected 6.3% in the second quarter, amid slowing demand from both domestic and international sources. Additionally, 2 of the 3 Libyan oil fields shut last week, resuming production on Saturday evening, bringing a total output capacity to 370,000 barrels per day back to the market, right? So got some back and forth happening there, but some concerns coming out of China. So that will be a piece for us to watch when it comes to oil. And then as that relates to the Canadian dollar, okay? So we will watch things there. So let's hop over to the calendar and just get an overview of the week. Bank holiday today in Japan. Got China GDP, industrial production coming in at 10 p.m. Oh, that came in at 10 p.m. yesterday. Industrial production came in above. GDP came in below. Sunday. Monday, Empire State Manufacturing Index came in above expectation. Monetary policy minutes, that's where we got those notes from Australia regarding the potential need to continue raising rates. So today, CAD CPI, right? That's going to be big for the Canadian dollar, coming in at 8:30 this morning. Then we have core retail sales and retail sales for the United States also at 8:30, right? Those numbers are going to be key when it looks at the spending. Okay. Tonight, NZD CPI quarter over quarter, going to be big for the New Zealand dollar there. Tomorrow morning, pound CPI year over year. Housing starts for the dollar at 8:30 tomorrow. Employment change and unemployment rate for the Aussie tomorrow night, right? So we got a relatively busy week, just spread out throughout the week this week, right? Decent amount happening today, some happening tomorrow, and then Thursday we got unemployment claims for the dollar. Okay, and then retail sales for the pound and for the CAD coming in on Friday. Okay, so relatively busy week. We'll keep our eyes on that data and see how it moves the market. Questions on anything fundamentally, or was there anything that you guys saw that caught your eye, piqued your interest? Nope. All right. Cool deal. So let's slide over to the charts, and we'll start with the DXY. And we will work from there. So, dollar index. I'll come back to the daily. Oops. Don't want that. There we go. Daily time frame. So, coming into a key level here, right? This is where the right tip of that crown started to form. We made our way back to that level, okay? So got to watch this here. We got a weekly support level just below that, right at that A boundary of this daily fib. So as this crown pattern plays out, the question is going to be, do we get a pullback and a retest to this previous level, right? We broke that level. Boom. We broke this level as well. So do we come back and retest this zone here, right? That's the question for me. So do we get a pullback, retest, and then a continuation short? Or does it continue to rise? What happens with the dollar is that question, right? So we're moving down, but coming into key levels of support. Let's see if we get a retracement in that move. Okay, so coming to the 4, and you see that sharp move to the downside there. All right. We know we got a larger fib working on the crown pattern, but let's look here. To see what the fib on that move looks like. So we got this action here, right? B boundary at that daily level, pull back, pushing back down. We'll see if we get a double bottom scenario here at this daily level, or do we continue to rise, right? And just go ahead and retest that level. So what data is gonna help decide that, right? So that's what we're gonna have to watch and pay attention to, is what happens in this range here. Do we push down to this 118 and 127 zone and get a flip, or do we get a flip at the B boundary and continue rising to come back and retest the zone? All right. So that's what I'm looking at on the DXY, a pullback of some sort, right? Just waiting to see where that's going to be, whether it's here or if we push down into this 118 and 127 zone. Okay, like this. So we will monitor, right, the data. Right, we got core retail sales coming out today. Okay, so that's the DXY, and that's what we could be looking for. Something like that. Pull back into the range, and then potentially get back short. Okay. So that's the DXY. Crown pattern, yep. Okay. Got it? You're welcome. Cool deal. So let's start from the top. Let's start with the Aussies and work our way through. This Aussie CAD. Here we're on the daily, right? And we talked about last week this down trend line, right? And price coming back to retest that trend line. Well, we got there. 786 retracement and trying to react here. Okay. So we'll see if we get price to turn over and push back down to the downside, coming back to the matching D extension here at 86,387. So that's the potential there if we get the flip on this, right? Excuse me. Trying to turn over now. We'll see if we get some continuation to the downside there, right? But nice deep push into the zone, just as we're looking for. So let's see if we get that continuation. Coming down to the 4, this is what that looks like. Stalling a bit, right? So here's a look from the 4. We got a 618 retracement originally, came back to that zone again on that retest, and we pressed back down. Sideways push right now, right? And see if we get another push to the downside. And maybe we don't come all the way down. We'll have to see how that goes, right? And we'll see what happens at these daily support levels that have held so far, okay? But looking for a retracement of some sort, maybe even coming back and retesting the previous resistance zone here. Okay, we'll have to see what happens here first, right? And we got these 4-hour levels there. See what happens here. If we're able to break through those zones and the dollar, in the CAD picks up some strength, right? We got CAD data coming in, so we could see that push to the downside there. So we'll watch that closely there. Okay, so that's on the 4. Coming down to the 1, this is where we are on the 1 hour, right? Took out those previous highs, worked to the trend line. Now we're coming back. We're at a deep retracement on this fib currently, right? And ultimately, I want to see if this A gets taken out or not, right? If the A gets taken out, then that's confirmation of that move to the downside potentially continuing. Okay. So that's how we're looking right now. It gave us what we're looking for from a daily time frame perspective. Now we're just looking for a little bit confirmation of that continued move to the downside. Okay. You guys follow me on that? Here we are on the cloud. Kind of just pressing sideways right now. Right? You see cloud moving sideways and you see price sliding sideways as well. We broke below it, but it's just a sideways push. So this one would be good to see the lagging span break that cloud. If that happens, that'll be some additional confirmation of that move to the downside. Okay. But that's the Aussie CAD, right? I'm looking to see what happens and if we're able to continue to the downside. Daily fib off the high here. Yep, off the high. Okay. Any other questions here on this Aussie CAD? No. All right, cool deal. Aussie Swiss. This one is just continue to kind of slide to the downside, right? Continue to slide to the downside. So we are at key daily level here at 58,339. Okay. The next key level, right? So let's look at this. Okay. The next key level of support is an all-time low at 53,414. Okay. So this level is going to be key for us to pay attention to here to see if price breaks this level or if this level holds. Okay. This level in my mind is very important. Okay. So I'm watching that closely to see if we get a reaction and a push back to the upside, or if the Swiss franc strengthens and pushes down into this zone and ultimately getting to this 53,414. Last week, Benny mentioned that the Swiss National Bank said that they wouldn't hesitate to intervene if necessary to protect the currency. Right? With the Swissy, they don't want the currency to get too strong, right? And too expensive. They want to keep things moderately priced. So let's watch this level and see what happens here. Right? We could potentially be in for a reversal here. Got the Reserve Bank of Australia talking about potential increases. So we'll watch that to see what transpires there. Coming down to the 4, right? We got a 382 push. The extension is here at 57,681. If we break that level, then we get there, right? This is in line with that 118, 127 zone off that daily time frame. All right. So here, let's do this. Let's box out this 118, 127 zone and see what type of confluence we have here. That's the zone there. Okay. We'll take this down to our lower time frames. Boom. All right. So on the 4, your D extension is just above that 118 and 127 zone on the daily. Okay. Okay. So if we break that level, we can see that push, right? We whipped out at the 382 here. pushing into the 118 and 127 zone there with this daily support. So again, right, giving credence to this daily level is going to be key for us to pay attention to. Okay, to see if we get the reversal there. Coming down to the 1, we had a fresh B boundary at this level. Okay, fresh B boundary at this daily support, 118, 127 zone here is just above that 4-hour D extension, just above that 118 and 127 zone on the daily, right? So we got some confluence of these lower levels, but we got to watch this here to see what happens there. All right, so AB boundary there. Let's see if it holds. Okay, and then break of the cloud, break of the trend line to give us confirmation of a reversal and a push to the upside. Okay, so that's what I see there on the Aussie Swiss. Questions here? Looking for reversal at some point. All right. The Aussie yen. Moving along, right? On the daily time frame, we got this nice pullback. Okay. Working on this fib on the daily, we got a 50% retracement. We broke this key daily level here. We came back and retested that level, created a swing low, strong bullish push. Now we're pulling back, right? So looking for this because, yes, investors are are looking at the Bank of Japan potentially changing their monetary policy, but they haven't done it yet, right? They haven't done it yet. They haven't said they were going to. So let's see if this pullback then gives us another push to the upside, getting back to this daily level at 96,833 and potentially higher, making our way to the D extension at 104,443 at some point there. Okay, so looking for this one to turn over and push back long, coming down to the 4, right? We're in a key zone. We talked about this a little bit last week as well. Push down to this daily level, 8.6 retracement, matching the extension as at 98,444. Okay, so we got a nice push off the low, and now we're pulling back. Okay, if we drop the cloud on here, right, we're testing the cloud now on the 4, right? So point of confirmation on the 4 is if you get that cloud break. You get the cloud break, and that's additional confirmation that we're moving along. Okay, so that's the look there on the 4, and we got that marked out. We got the flip. And now we're looking for price to continue to the upside here. Okay, coming down to the 1. Here we had an 80-20 in that reversal zone, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, push to the daily level, and we got our flip. Right, so on the 1 hour, if you're just tracking us on the 1, you hit your levels last week on Thursday, right? Beautiful move to the upside there. Now we're getting this pullback, right? This is my sub fib running off the low, right? Tracking the move to the upside. We're sitting in our sweet spot right now, creating. Don't have a double bottom yet, but when this candle closes in 4 minutes, we'll have an official swing low here. So this will give us a double bottom right in our sweet spot, right? 618 retracement zone. Boom. Okay. So looking for this to flip and continue pushing to the upside. So if you're not in this already, price is in the sweet spot looking for the move to the upside. So your setup would look like this. We'll just use that box. Boom. Okay, there's your stop loss for the move to the upside. Bang. That's the look on the 4 right now from where on the 1 right now from where we sit. Okay. So wait on your confirmation of the turnover here, right? But we're getting a swing low to form there and giving us a double bottom. Okay. So looking for that to continue to the upside. Risk to reward on this one. 63 pips on the stop loss for 217 on the upside. So beautiful scenario there. So let's watch that one. I'm actually looking to add to my trade once that candle closes, and look for that continued move to the upside there. Okay, same, good work, Joy. Right, and then overall, I'm tracking this off of. I got my take profit level here, just inside of that daily level, but ultimately I'm tracking this off the 4 hour here, right? So get that entry on that additional entry. Next take profit level will be placed up here. Okay, so that's the Aussie yen. Questions on this one? No. Okay, cool. This Aussie NZD, whew, finally turning over, right? Here on the daily, we've been playing in this range, right? Daily resistance level, pushed down, came back and retested some of these previous resistance levels here, right? Right in that 618 retracement zone, and we're getting the push, right? We're getting a push. We didn't come all the way back to that 105, 601 level, right? But came back into the sweet spot, and now we're pushing back to the upside. Okay, strong move here. Potentially, if you're not in this, wait for a pullback and then a continuation. Coming to the 4, right? You see the move here. We wicked at 382. Let's see, 83.37. 83. No, we just missed that 382, right? Just missed the 382. So now that makes this 118 and 127 zone really make sense, right? 3 touches in the zone, and then we got price to turn over and push, right? So we're pushing long here, looking for price to continue move higher. Okay, on that daily time frame, let's go back, right? We got some levels to break through daily and weekly, but if we continue long, the D extension is at 113.227. Okay, so that's a longer move, but we're pushing to the upside right now, and then once we break these levels, then we'll continue higher. Okay, so now coming down to the 1, there's your push, there's your swing, pushing to the upside. So likely going to break that A boundary. We'll run a sub fib here. We're overextended. So looking for a pullback here. Okay. Looking for a pullback here. So swing high to form. Look for a pullback, right? Potentially coming back to retest some of these levels like we looked at on the 4, right? Look for a pullback and a continuation here. Pullback looking something like that. And then a continuation long. Okay. So that's what I'm looking for on this Aussie New Zealand. And maybe we break that A boundary first before we get that swing high. But either way it goes, once that happens, then the fib will look something like this or even a little bit longer. But if it turns over there, then your fib looks like that. You look for a pullback into the sweet spot and that reversal. Okay, so we'll watch that one for that pullback if you're not in it, and then that push to the upside, right? But we're pushing long here. We got the swing, and we're looking for that continuation to the upside. Okay, questions on this Aussie New Zealand? Trying to break the cloud there. If price didn't take out the A, yeah, if it doesn't take out the A, then you're looking at a continuation, push back to the downside. Yeah, so we'll watch to see what happens there. If it doesn't take out the A on this 1 hour, then you're looking at your matching D extension to be here, and you're retesting these low levels here, right? So it would be more of a continued move to the downside, coming to the D extension, and then we'll see here if we continue lower, right? And ultimately, if that occurs, what that would be is pushing to the bottom of the range. right? If this turns over and pushes back down, then you're looking at coming to the bottom of the range here, testing these lower levels, this engulfing candle here, right? So that's a good question, right? And a good point. So we'll see what happens. If we don't and we continue lower, we have to take out this. Once this daily candle closes, it'll be a swing low here, right? So at the end of today, that could be a swing low unless something happens drastically and turns that over. But then we'll have to break this swing low and continue to the downside there. Okay. So we'll watch and see what happens. We'll watch it. Okay. Cool deal. And then I dropped the cloud here on the 4, right? Trying to break the cloud, not quite bullish just yet. But if we break the cloud and we get a bullish twist here, right, then we could be looking for a pullback and a continuation, right? So that's also another piece of confirmation that we can use is that cloud break on the 4. Okay. So that's the Aussie New Zealand. Aussie dollar came to the top of the range, right? And we were looking for that to happen. We got a reaction. We're pulling back. Now we want to see what happens with the dollar this week, right? Coming down to the 4, here's a little pullback here. So this will be interesting to see, okay? If the sentiment on the dollar changes, right? Do we get a pullback, something like this, and then a continuation to the downside? If the DXY gets a flip, right? So we could see something like that occur here on this Aussie dollar. Okay, so that's something for us to pay attention to, or even coming back and giving us a double top at this daily level. Okay, so we'll have to watch the DXY here to see how it moves, and also look at those bond yields as well, and see if those continue moving to the downside, or does that sentiment shift? Okay, coming to the 1, we're pulling back, right? We're at a 382. Actually got to a 50% level there, so we'll see if this continues, or if we, like I said, if we push back to the upside here, right? So this one is in between right now. If we get a pullback like this and we don't break this daily level, then I'll be looking for short opportunities, right? If we break above that daily level, then I'm looking for price to continue to the upside, getting to the D extension there on the 1. Okay, so this daily level is my kind of my monitor. It's my monitor, right? So we'll watch and see what happens. This is a range we've been in for a bit, and we'll see if we stay in it. Okay, so that one's in between right now, just watching to see what happens here. Okay, questions on the Aussie dollar? Nope. Okay. Now to these CADs. This CAD Swiss. It's been interesting. Let's start at the monthly. Okay. This is where we are. We broke that level, right? Haven't created a swing low yet, but this is an all-time low level, 64,673. Okay, so all-time low level here. We're pushing back to it. Got a small reaction, coming back to a strong bearish candle to the downside. Okay, come here to the weekly. Got a weekly support level. Okay, now on the weekly, running that fib, we got a 618 retracement. Okay, with a matching D extension at 46,090. So with this being an all-time low level, I'm curious to see if we see buyers come in here, right? because we've never been lower than this ever, right? So generally at these all-time low levels, and we created this earlier in this year. Generally at these levels, we get reactions, right? Now, if for whatever reason, right, the data comes in negative for the CAD and we see this break, then we could be in for a free fall, okay, until Swiss National Bank steps in, right? So I'm watching this level extremely closely here for those reasons, okay? We got a weekly support. We're coming back to test that level. Could potentially see a double bottom form here and then see a push to the upside, okay? This is a weekly resistance level also. I know it's going to show on the daily as a resistance level, but I'll mark it here like that. Right? So that's the weekly. So coming down to the daily now, we're still in this 118, 127 zone. Okay. Last time we came to this level, we got a reaction. Let's see if we do it again. Right? Because we're still in this 80-20 scenario off the daily time frame. Price is just taking its time. Okay. So unless this level gets broken, I'm looking for price to reverse. Okay. Looking for price to reverse here. So coming down to the 4, right? It's been sliding. We didn't get our reversal here, right? We didn't get our reversal off of this capital fib here, right? Price took out the A, turned over, pressed down. So now here we sit 118, 127 zone in line with a key weekly support level. Okay. So let's watch, because here again, we could potentially get a double bottom scenario and see price turn over and push to the upside. Okay. So 80-20 on the 4 here coming in line with the key support level. Okay. We've seen in the past these scenarios with these key levels, right? Very important to watch. Okay. So that's the 4. Coming down to the 1. If we push down to that level, that weekly level, we'll hit the D extension, we'll get a new fib. All right. Currently, we're hovering sideways, right, in an 80-20 scenario on the 1, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we push down to tag this 1-hour D extension, test that weekly level, give us a new AB boundary, and then we get a flip. Okay, that wouldn't surprise me here. So let's watch this and see how it transpires. I'm going to use the cloud as my confirmation here. See if we get that push and then a flip, and then I'll be looking at this 4-hour 80-20 scenario and this daily 80-20 scenario, looking for price to rise to the upside. I'll take these out. This level no longer exists. Neither does that one, and neither does that. Oops. Right? So that's what I'm looking for here, right? I've been watching this for a while, with this being at all-time low levels, with us having a weekly support level here, daily support levels as well, 80-20 scenarios forming in the zone, D extension in the zone. We got confirmation that this zone is very strong. So let's watch it closely here for a flip. All right. So be patient and allow for it to form. Right. But I'm looking for us to get a catalyst to move this back to the upside. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Right. Like I said, we might get one more push down and tag that 64,752 level. Okay. So keep your eyes peeled on this one. Okay. Questions here? No? All right. Benny, good morning, bro. Oh, missed him. Benny, good morning, bro.
bad. I was on mute. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody.
How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Morning's off to a great start.
Absolutely. That's good.
Off to
It's
a
good
great
to
start.
hear.
Yep, yep. Anything that you've seen fundamentally, or even technically, we went through the Aussies before you hopped on. Um,
Oh yeah, those bouncing back and forth.
they are, yeah, yeah. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see
just
how those move.
yeah, we're getting that. Still, you're getting pressure on that dollar still to the downside. They're speculating hard that they're coming to the end of that rate hike cycle.
Yeah, yeah, big
You
time.
know, so they're starting to think ahead. So you started, and you see those bond yields are coming down. So uh, that dollar, is losing, continues to lose steam. So it's the lowest
Yeah,
it's been in a while. So paying attention to that. But you know, my main focus, I really want to, looking for good opportunities on the euro and the pound because they're
okay.
still expected to hike rates. So just really staying patient with those because they got to move. I'm looking at them still to move long after when they're in the right position in those sweet spots.
Yeah,
You know, but yeah, like those Aussies, like they're bouncing a bit because it's the data's kind of all over the place with it. And you really have to pay attention to China, right? I think I was reading that they missed the GDP targets, right, for
China
China.
did. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But they're also pumping stimulus, which is kind of gave a little boost to the oil price. So just being patient, waiting to see that play out. But that's got that Aussie kind of just hovering. Seems like,
Yeah.
uh, so just kind of trying to look for pairs that has clarity. If that makes sense. That
Yeah.
we can get on the move in a direction. You know what I mean? Whether it's up or down, doesn't matter, but just to get it trending.
Get it trending. Yep.
On some of these pairs. So I'm mainly looking at those euro and those pound pairs with those expected rate hikes coming. I know they're expecting either they can't make a determination whether 25 or 50 out of the UK, and I know another
Yeah.
25 coming out of the ECB. So
They're expecting the
yeah,
ECB to be coming to the end of the cycle too. The investors are.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing because those inflation numbers are cooling off big time.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been tricky. It's the first time I've lived through and traded through you know aggressive rate hikes like we've
Mm-hmm.
seen.
Yeah.
And now the potential of them coming to the end of the cycle, just to see how that's gonna make the market move. But um, I mean, and then there's still a lot of talk about Japan, changing their like people keep. I mean, it's been like a whole year of this stuff with
Yeah,
Japan
man.
saying they're gonna change their policy, and they keep saying we're not
Yeah.
gonna change it. But that's an interesting one because I'm still looking for laws against that yen.
I am
Like
too. I am too.
especially after the correction. It corrected so hard after them talk just speculating that they may intervene. The Bank of Japan, and here we are having investors. I don't know. Investors the emotions seem to be all over the place with investors. I'm not. I guess I'm going to believe it when I see it. When Japan
Yeah.
changes their monetary policy. So
Yeah.
lots going on.
It's a ton, dude. It's a ton. And that Japan situation, man. Um, like an article I think I read it was last week or the week before, but they reiterated that they're not ready to change their policy yet. In the future, could they? Sure, but now they aren't ready to do that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they see yet.
Yeah,
um,
it's like people. It's like people keep. It's like affirmations, man. It's like people keep trying to speak it into existence. I'm like, it's not happening. Like I don't know. I don't know what's going on like that. So any any low price, I'm still looking for for buying opportunity until I hear otherwise. So, but it'll be interesting to journal with the possibility of these central banks coming to the end of their rate hiking cycle. Just to journal what that does to the strength of the currencies. You
Yeah.
know, you would assume that, hey, it's gonna take it'll take a dip, a decline, a correction, but I don't know. Never been in this situation before, so we'll
Yeah.
see, man. We just continue to follow the waves at that point. Technically,
Exactly.
do what makes sense from a technical perspective. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. But just being patient, man. Using proper risk management, trading small, knowing that hey, my first entry, is probably not going to be the most ideal. You know what I mean? And then looking to add to it later once it goes in my direction.
that,
You
that
know.
that's actually a great point, bro. Um,
Mhm.
Looking at a lot of those potentially longer term scenarios that swing, and that first entry not being quote unquote
Yep.
perfect, right? Um,
Yep.
that's a great point. But finding it in your zone, taking the trade, and then allowing price to bounce and do its thing until it gets its momentum.
So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. But just staying steady. And I know, you know, years ago in these type of situations is where your mind would start to wonder, and you start to look for other opportunities because you're itching, and that's usually when you get beat. You know, when you get burned really bad. Trying to force things to happen, trying to look for maybe if I smack a moving average on my chart, or maybe if I do this, trying to force the agenda, and it's like, nah, you gotta kind of stay in your zone and wait for things to come to you. And I think that's the psychological battle where traders get beat, because it's not doing what they expected it to do when they expected it to happen. You know,
Yeah.
and that's when you get destroyed in the market. And that's just some of the things, the power of journaling. Like just some of the things that I've learned in the past. Just to be patient, because then you look back and you're like, man, I went off and I started doing all this other stuff. If I'd have just maintained, my strategy and maintained the way that I look at the market, I would have put myself either in a position where I wasn't in the market at all because things didn't meet my criteria. So that way I protected my capital, or I would have actually made money if I had just been cool and just waited for things to play out. Because there's a lot of data. Reading through the articles and stuff late last night and this morning. There's a lot the market's got to sort out. You know, so when it's happening like that, we just have to be patient as traders.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. Not not going away from your trading plan, and ultimately for us the methodology that we teach, and adding extra stuff, but really sticking to the plan and allowing the market to do what it does.
Yeah,
Just because it's
yeah,
not in your spot doesn't mean that your spot isn't good anymore, right? It just means that the market ain't ready yet.
yeah. It's just the old saying, right? That idle mind is the devil's workshop. You can start to get real creative when you sit when you sit up there looking at the charts, and things aren't lining up the way you need them to yet. And you can start to force some things. So just really just staying patient. And sometimes the best thing is just not to have a position at all. You know. So yep, just my thoughts on a Tuesday morning.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. And it's some really great points. Really great points for us to keep in mind. Really great points for
Yeah,
us to keep in mind. Appreciate
appreciate it.
you.
Hmm.
All right, cool. So let's speaking of Japan, um CAD yen. Um this is where we are on the daily. Strong push to the downside. We broke this previous resistance level here, right? So that level is Joy, I love that. I love that. I'm gonna write that one down. That might be a good podcast name. I'm gonna write that down. Um But on this CAD yen, 8-6 retracement, we broke back below this daily level. So we're going to take that level out. Strong move down. So now do we settle in here in this range? Do we settle in here and get a push back to the upside, right? Because just like Benny talked about, Bank of Japan hasn't changed their stance yet. They haven't changed their stance yet, right? So let's see. Hold on one second. My bad, guys. My bad. So let's see if price settles in here and see if we start to turn over and push back to the upside. Okay. Let's watch it closely here. Primarily due to Bank of Japan not changing their stance. So we'll see if we get the CAD to pick up some strength and at least give us a pullback, right? If nothing else, but potentially even breaking up higher and coming back to at least that 110,451 level. Coming down to the 4, right? We're moving into our sweet spot, right? We took that daily level out, boom, moving into our sweet spot, right? Just shy of that 618 retracement level and that TP2 off of that beautiful 80-20 to the downside, right? Beautiful 400 pips down, right? It's a beautiful thing to watch. So now as we come into the zone, right, you see we already created a swing low here, and we're coming back and retesting that support level. So again, let's see if that level holds and see if we get price to reverse out of this zone, right? And see if we get a move to the upside. Matching the extension here on the 4 is just above that 110,451 level. Boom. Okay. Slowing down, starting to stall, starting to press sideways. Let's see if we get that reversal there. Okay. Coming down to the 1. And you see the bounce, right? We're moving through the cloud here. Cloud pressing sideways, and so is price. Okay. On this fib, we got to push. We're pulling back. We'll see if this B boundary holds, and if we get another turn and push to the upside. Okay. So looking long here, just waiting on that reversal to come. Okay. Waiting on that reversal to come. Okay. So that's the CAD yen. Questions here? No. All right. Cool deal. And then Swiss yen is doing what the Swiss yen does. Pressing sideways in his 118, 127 zone. Had a strong push to the downside, came right back to that daily resistance level that it created, and now we're stalling. Okay. Coming down to the 4. Here's that 80-20 move. And we talked about that daily, that 4-hour level. And we got the push back up. Now we got double top scenario here in this 118, 127 zone on the 4. Price is trying to turn over. So we'll see what happens with the Swissy here. Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be more based on is the Swissy as opposed to the yen. Okay. And maybe some profit taking that occurs and maybe pushes this further down. So let's watch this closely to see what happens here. But ultimately, right, price is moving through the cloud. Okay, double top scenario potentially. Coming down to our 1, right, there's that sideways push again. On the 1, we got a beautiful move down just shy of that TP2 level, right? But we stayed inside that that daily level, and we pushed back out of it. So this one it's in between. Like I said, it'd be more due to the Swissy than anything else. We'll see if we get some confirmation of price turnover at some point. But we'll just watch this one closely. Nothing doing right now. There's your cloud trying to twist, and we're testing the cloud there. Okay. So that's the Swiss yen. Questions on that one? Cool. We'll get to a couple of these euros. Hold on 1 second, guys. My bad, everybody. This Euro Aussie. Benny posted in the Discord yesterday, right? But as long as price doesn't take out your A, it has no choice but to go your way, right? And we came back down, double bottomed at this daily support, and we're pressing back long, right? We got a 382 push off the original 80-20. Boom. Now we're making our way, right? That crown pattern is still intact. We got a double bottom scenario there as well. Boom. Right. So now we're looking at need to break this level at 165,515. Right. And then we'll look for that continuation to the matching D extension there at 169,671. Right. So that's from a daily perspective. We're looking long still on these euros. Right. So here we are on the 4. Here we are on the 4. Right. 382 long. And there's your crown. You see that double bottom a lot more clearly here. Boom. Push to the upside. So now, again, waiting on that break. Continuations to the upside. So coming here to the 1, right? This is where price did not take out the A, right? Double bottomed in the zone. Daily support. Your flip. Okay. So now looking for price to continue. So we'll look for a break, a retest of that level, and then a continuation to the upside. Okay. So that's what we're looking at on the Euro Aussie. Got some work to do. The matching D extension is here at 166.025 on that 1 hour. Okay, so that was moving in our favor in a beautiful way. We'll continue to monitor it as it goes.
Hey, Ryan.
What's up, bro?
Hey, can you do me a big favor on that? Where was that stochastic at on the daily chart on that cat? Yeah.
On the daily? Oh, on the CAD yen?
Yeah. I missed that. I missed the daily when you were looking at the daily.
Let's see. Mine isn't set up right, but
okay, that's all right. If you just put the regular one on, that would give me an idea too.
Okay.
Yeah, just put on a regular stochastic or hard side indicator.
That was that. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, I don't know how my settings got changed on it.
We're probably when they made the update.
Yeah, I don't know how the settings got changed on it there.
That's all right.
Yeah, I have to go back on that one.
Okay, that's cool.
All right.
Okay. Because that's settling pretty low on the 4, right?
Yes, on the 4 it is.
Okay.
Let's go back there. My bad. Coming into 618 retracement zone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. And then
my bad. I mean to throw you off.
No, you're good. You're good. That was a great question. I have to go back and reset that RSI. I don't use it much, but
okay.
Good to have it though. Zero CAD, right? Push to the upside, coming back into that zone that we've been watching, right? And continues to rise. So broke this daily level. That's gone. Broke that daily level, right? Now looking for price to continue moving to the upside. We got a weekly resistance level coming in at 149.366. We'll see what happens when we get there, okay? But we're pressing long right now. Coming down to the 4. There was the shift, right? Beautiful push to the downside. 8-6 retracement. There's your swing, right? We had confirmation of the sub fib to the downside, 80-20 scenario, right? Took its time, but there's your shift. So we're coming into the D extension now off that capital fib, right? The extension on that capital fib in line with that weekly resistance level. So once that occurs, we'll get a new AB boundary, and then we'll watch to see what transpires from there, right? But this one is long, and it's coming into that zone that we've been watching. So we'll monitor once we get to that 149.368 level. Okay, coming down to the 1. Here we are, right? Just barely wicked that 382. Pushing back to the upside. This 118, 127 zone is also in line with that weekly level. So could we push here, and then get a reversal out and a deeper retracement for then a continuation? Okay. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay. You're talking about the low right here, JC? There you go. Okay. So that's what we're looking at there. Waiting for price to come to that level, and then we'll look to see if we get a reaction out of that zone. All right. So that's what I see on that EuroCAD. Questions here? Questions on anything that we covered this morning?
Nope.
Cool deal. Any final thoughts, bro, before we wrap it up?
Oh no, man! Great session. Just I mean, as always, be patient, but especially during these times, let the market sort itself out, and those trades will hit our sweet spots, just like they always do.
Yes, sir.
And that's where we make our money.
Yes, sir. We get paid to wait. All right. Get paid to wait. So good deal, everybody. So we'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. You guys have a phenomenal Tuesday, and we'll see you tonight. Peace.
All right. Thank you.